kind of busy, so I figured I would get back on track doing some live discussions here. I've got a couple of streams going on here. I'm trying to do my best Gary Vee impression. I've got our YouTube live here, I've got our Instagram live, and then I've got our Twitter and LinkedIn live here also. So, what I like to do these lives for is just a chance to talk about me, the founder, talk about the brand, talk about this isn't a time for selling. So if you guys want to watch me sell hostage tape, you can you can click on I do live streams every night. I go live on Whatnot. So I've been trying to branch out and get more into the live selling stuff, these live selling channels, because I am a believer that there's a shift happening in just selling in general and being able to actually to leverage the TikTok shop lives, right? The Whatnot lives, like this idea of live selling online. I think there's a big future there because obviously it's been really successful in China, and it seems like everything that happens in China always ends up making its way over here. So I'm a believer, and I figure why not start now? It's kind of like this, right? So at night, I work 7 days a week. I'm always working on hostage tape and the brand, and I'm of this mindset that we should be creating more than we're consuming. And so this idea of, I get up early in the morning, I go through my morning routine, I got to sneeze, and I go to the gym, I drop my daughter off at school, I go to the gym, I come back, I do meetings, I hop on, I do this, and then I go back, I get more work done, I might have more meetings, I'm making ads, I'm monitoring Facebook, all those kind of things, right? And then at the end of the day, when I'm done, it might be 5, 6 o'clock ish, and then we have dinner. We try to always do dinner as a family. And then what? Most people would sit down at the TV and they would just consume, right? They would just like consume Netflix, YouTube, and just like veg out. Whereas I'm on this mindset of like, what a waste. That's a waste of 1, 2, 3, 4 hours where what could I accomplish in that same amount of time and compounded over a whole year? Like imagine. And so I'm of that mindset of I'm gonna create more than I consume. And so that means then I come down back into my office here and I I live stream. I'll pop on Whatnot. So I've been listening to, Logan Paul's been talking about Whatnot, and I think even Gary Vee's been talking about Whatnot, just these other live selling channels. And so I got on Whatnot, and so I've been streaming. I've been doing live selling on Whatnot for now a good little over a week, almost 2 weeks now, and just a chance to get in front of the camera, like get my chops better at live selling in front of the camera, and I'll spend anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour doing the doing live selling on Whatnot. And Whatnot doesn't integrate directly into my Shopify store and then directly into Hostage Tape Shopify store. So I have to fulfill everything myself. So I'll do these deals. And what I'm trying to do, this approach that I'm trying to take with live selling is that I'm not selling straight up large bundles, high AOV products of hostage tape. I don't know that that's the right place for that. And so I'm viewing the live selling as a chance to it's a top of funnel move. It's how do I get in front of more people, people that maybe have never heard of the brand before, people who have maybe they've been eyeing up hostage tape for a while and they haven't pulled the trigger on it. So what can I do to help get them over the edge? And because it's me and I'm selling it, I'm not paying, affiliate commissions or anything like that. And so it doesn't really cost me anything other than my time to get in front and make these sales. And as I start making a handful of sales every night, like that starts to compound because if you think about like the LTV of our customers, we have over a 4 LTV to CAC for customers, which means for every dollar that I spend, I'm making over $4 on that customer's lifetime value. That's amazing. I mean, most great companies are in the 3 range and we're over 4. So I know that if I'm getting just a couple on and a handful of people every night on these live selling platforms, then that's only the beginning. And then it'll start to compound and get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the better that I get at it then, and the better that the algorithms of these platforms like Whatnot and TikTok Shop start to get to know me, then hopefully it starts to get bigger and gets pushed out to more people. And plus it's a it's an awareness play too, right? Because think about how many people I'm getting in front of when I do the live selling. And so it's those are impressions, right? And I'm super branded. Like I have my studio back here that I've set up. It's behind me. So I'll sit back in my studio and I've got all my branded stuff. You can see I've got my neon sign right here. So it sits right at the top of the screen when I'm live selling. And then I've got this monitor. I took a monitor and I put it next to me vertical. So I've got this video that loops and plays of all these different videos of where I'm popping the tape and I'm putting it on and I'm showing how it's stretchy in all of these different scenarios. And so I figure it's impressions, right? And I'm getting like tens of thousands of impressions every night just by doing the live selling. And so again, just imagine how like much that starts to compound. And so I do that on Whatnot. And what's interesting about Whatnot is it doesn't really have a um, it doesn't really have like a health and wellness category. And so for the last like week, I've been in this other beauty category, and I keep getting the stream of women that come into it, and so I had to shift like how I sell it. I sell it from the hey, does your husband snore, and are you getting great sleep? Are you not getting great sleep? Are you being pushed out of the bedroom? And so I try to shift like how I talk about it. But now, last night, I started to I changed the category that we're selling in on Whatnot to men's fashion. There's nothing else even close to it. I can't I can't pick a health and wellness category. They just don't have it on Whatnot. So I'm doing men's fashion, hoping that and it's other men's fashion. So I'm hoping that I can catch men who are looking into those categories of men's fashion and they see us and they go, "Oh, hostage tape, yeah, I've heard of that," or it intrigues them. But at least I'm getting more men that are coming into the stream who I'm trying to sell to, and then I'll do that from anywhere from like 30 minutes to an hour because sometimes it's a crapshoot. Sometimes they're good and sometimes they're not good. Sometimes I'll go for 20 minutes and I do these flash sales. So the point that I was getting at was I try to go on these I try to live sell and then I do flash sales to where I'm hitting very top of funnel people, people who maybe have never heard of the brand or they have and they haven't done anything. And so when they see me, I'm going to sell them on just a 30-day supply and then I'm going to give them a deal. I'm going to give them like 40% off. Because again, I'm not really paying an acquisition cost because it's me doing it, so I'm not paying an affiliate. And so I figure, all right, well, we'll do these 40% off flash deals that you can't get anywhere else. You're only going to get these amazing deals when you come and you watch me on the live selling at night. And so hopefully that incentivizes people to try it out. They've got nothing to lose, 30-day money back guarantee, and gives me kind of an advantage and something that I can make people feel like they're getting a deal when I'm doing these live selling, because there's just no way that I'm going to be able to sell a $99 bundle to people on a whatnot or a TikTok shop when they've never bought from us before. Um, that's much more typical on Facebook because people know who we are, or they they get familiar with us, or they start buying from us, and then they're going to buy the $99 bundles. And so then after I do that for like 30 to 60 minutes, then I pop over onto TikTok Shop, and I'm starting to get in a rhythm of doing the TikTok Shop live stuff, and that's a whole nother beast. That's a whole nother skill level just to get really, really good at. And here's what I've learned. So I'm trying to gamify it to where I understand how TikTok Shop works and how I can continue to get better at it. It's just like when I was a football player, right? How do I get better at being a quarterback? I have to watch the tape, I have to learn from it, and then I have to adjust and then keep getting better. And so I try to do that with TikTok, and I try to do my research. I try to find different ways that I can improve and get better and be a better TikTok seller. And so I keep evolving the stream. And so some of the things I'm learning is, so I implemented the monitor here. So I've got the monitor playing that's looping a video. So when people come to my stream, they're not going to wonder like, what the hell is this guy selling? What is he talking about? They can come and they'll sit and they can watch this video loop for, it's like a minute long video that I made, where it at least gives them a good idea of what the product is, what it looks like, and it's fast moving and fast paced. So it at least catches their attention and they can sit and they can watch that. And then what I've learned is when you're doing TikTok Shop, you have to come out of the gates like hard, and it's very similar to when you're making an ad. So when I make ads for Facebook and Instagram, I'm coming out of the gate right away with a hook. I'm getting somebody's attention, and then I'm constantly moving. I'm constantly trying to throw information or value or something that's keeping their attention. And I've learned that's TikTok TikTok Shop Live is the exact same way. So I come out of the gate hot. I come out right away and I'm like, hey folks, this is Hostage Tape. We're the biggest mouth tape brand. We've sold over 51 million of these things. We've got some of the biggest names on the planet that use us, guys like Joe Rogan, yada, yada, yada. So I come out hot, and I've found that that really gets the algorithm kind of keyed in, and then it pushes it out to people, because then when you're talking about the product, you're making some claims, right? You're using some hooks, then the algorithm kind of knows who maybe to target and who to push this out to. And then I'm making sure too that I'm demonstrating the product within the first like 5 minutes. I pull the product out and I demonstrate it, and then I put it on my face. And that all seems to give me some really good momentum with the algorithm. And then I'm also using, there's promotional boosts. So in both TikTok and whatnot, there's two levers. There's a straight up promotional marketing where when you go live, it pushes it out to people so that it gives people a chance to be able to click in. But then there's also an extra boost where you can say, not only do that, but then I want you to boost it even further to people. And so I've been playing with that too on both of them. And what I find on TikTok Shop in particular is that whenever I do that, I'm getting out to almost like 1 to 200 people concurrently. Like I'll have 1 to 200 people on the stream watching me, and so what I've been playing with is that when that happens, I'll I'll do the stream until the point where I can see it hits 1 to 200 people, and then at that moment I drop the flash sale when I've got the most eyeballs, so that I can try to get their interest of, hey, we're doing a sale, 40% off. If you've ever wondered about it and you haven't taken the leap yet, this is your chance. You're not going to see this anywhere else. So then I try to get their attention by doing the flash sale at the peak moment when the most people are on the stream. So, but so I'm about 2 weeks in to the my whole live stream life, right? Of kind of just figuring it out, and again, hopefully continue to compound. But that again goes back to what I was talking about earlier is I feel much more productive and better that I'm creating it, right? I'm producing rather than consuming. So then at night, I do that. I live stream for 2 to 3 hours because I feel like if I'm just going to sit down and kind of not do anything, well, why wouldn't I sit down and actually produce content that people are going to consume that actually adds value out into the world and continues to build the brand and continues to add value to other people? And then just think about how if I continue to do that every night, that's 2 to 3 hours every night, that's going to snowball and stack and exponentially get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's the that's the whole idea there. And then it's just being disciplined and continuing to do it, and and to keep doing it, knowing that some days are going to be good and some days aren't going to be good. Like we had a day, I had a day on TikTok Shop last week where I did a couple $100 in sales, which is phenomenal. I mean, I think it's kind of hard to do the TikTok live selling. It's because it's like you have to have the right ingredients of all these things that come together for it to just kind of work. And sometimes I wonder if it also means just you have to just keep going and keep live selling and streaming for a while until TikTok almost kind of vets you and says, okay, you've put in your dues. Now I'm going to help you. I don't know. But I do wonder if that's kind of the case. And so, but we had an amazing day where I did a couple $100 in sales that one day. Um, and, and so I was on a streak where we were doing a handful of sales every day. And now I'm on a bit of a dry spell right now, to be honest. So still playing. I don't know if it's I've been playing with different things, like different sales, different strategies on like what can I offer that might get people to buy, and I've been playing with that, and maybe that's the problem. Early on I was doing these buy one and then we'll throw in a free gift, and that was working, and then I was changing it and trying like what if all right, maybe I'll do just the flash sale of the one item, and so I'm trying all sorts of different things just to see what works. And I'm doing it late at night because from my limited experience, it felt like I was getting the most amount of eyeballs and relevant eyeballs at night at the 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock times, because it's almost like perfect because people are in bed or they're getting ready for bed, and I'm speaking to what they're about to do and what's on their mind. And so it's like the most relevant because I've also that's the best time that you've got people's attention, right? People's attention is they're sitting there on their phone, they're scrolling. So what better time to talk about how I can help them get better sleep than right when they're about to go to sleep and they're thinking about how good or bad they might be sleeping. And oh wow, look at this. I'm looking at a guy talking about how he can help me get better sleep. So interesting. So the journey, the live selling journey has begun, and I've continued to evolve my studio behind me. I just got some new lighting in too, some key lights that I'm using that help show me better on camera, and so we'll continue to evolve the hostage tape live selling and just kind of see how we do. So, but anyways, so the whole point of doing these streams is again just to give you guys a chance to get to know me as a founder. We can talk about brand. We can talk about how I started the company, why I started the company. We can just talk about all those different things, the kind of questions that people always love to hear about founder story kind of things, all that sort of stuff. But in the meantime, what I'll do is I like to talk to my AI, and my AI will give me questions and things that I can talk about, topics. And I've been using Manus. So I'm amazed at how many people don't know about Manus. So Manus is the AI platform that Meta bought. So Zuckerberg bought Manus, and I love Manus. I use Manus. My whole team uses it. I still use ChatGPT, a little bit from here and there. But the thing about what Manus does that I just don't think people fully understand yet is, there's all this buzz about Claude Code, and how you can literally have it run and do all these things. But Manus does all that and more, and it automates it all. So you don't have to like prompt it. So how you can think about Manus is essentially a bunch of employees or virtual assistants that if you need it to, like, okay, here's a couple of really good examples of how I use Manus. So I create automated scheduled tasks for Manus to run. And one of them might be, all right, Manus, I want you to, every morning, I want you to run a site check and a speed check on hostage tape. I want you to make sure everything is operating as it should, everything looks good, the site speed's good. But then I also want you to run through checkout. So it'll run through the checkout and make sure that everything in the checkout is operating normally. And then it gives me a report of, and it grades it and tells me if anything is good. And then if anything is not good and there's a problem, then I can identify what the problem is and gotta get going and fix it. Because the thing about something like that with our site is you're when you're running through Shopify, you're relying on so many different systems that all work together that they're constantly updating those. And every once in a while something breaks. So if you don't know it breaks, then how long until how much revenue did you lose before you knew that something broke that you needed to go in and actually fix it? And so that's an example where, all right, now every morning I have my site check run in Manus. And so it automatically goes in and it uses its own bot, right, to go to the site and run through it and check it and then give me a report. So think about that. Think about how many of those then you can deploy into your business or into whatever it is that you do that are just like employees. And so then take that, multiply it times 10, and that's what we're doing with Manus, right? So not only is it doing a site check and a checkout flow check every day, but it's running through all of our social media. It's doing some automated posting for us. It's also creating some content for us. It is managing it's engaging with people. So when people post, it's responding back and engaging with other people who post. And on some of the platforms, I can actually tell it to go out and find other interesting posts or other interesting accounts that it can engage with to help. It's essentially a social media manager in many respects. And and then I can also have it just give me ideas, like feed me creative ideas every day, right? Or it can create static. One of the things I have it do is it creates the static ads every day. So it'll create a batch of, like, I feed it these persona. There's this persona doc that I use along with our reviews, and I have it create. It just runs through this process that is saved of creating native static ads based on personas, based on motivations, based on emotional triggers, and then it just builds this stockpile of native static ads that I go in and I grab and I pick things out of, and then I use when I update and post ads every week. Depending upon like how good my ads are performing. Because there's a point where ads start to fatigue, or you need to start introducing some new ideas or fresh new content. And I've got Manus just in the background working, constantly giving me new stuff that I can go in and I can grab at any time. And so, I mean, think about that, right? The amount of work that you can have done for you by Manus automatically every single day is like just invaluable. Okay. And now Meta has finally integrated in the ad account into it, which I saw this coming immediately. When I saw the announcement that Meta had bought Manus, and I went and I looked at it, and then I started to play with it, I immediately knew what Zuck was trying to do. So Zuck's plan for Manus this whole time was Manus is going to completely automate the ad workflows for brands like us. So we're not going to have to create a ton of content anymore. A lot of the content can be made by AI, specifically like static ads. Like so many static ads and pieces of videos can be made by AI, and also then the managing of it. So the posting of ads, the managing of the ads, tweaking of them, static or the copy, all of it, right? All that stuff can be automated. Like that doesn't need to be like humans don't need to do that stuff anymore. We can just if we just want to tell it, hey, let's let's market this this ad, this product, this service, and this is what we're charging for it, then we should be able to have Manus take care of almost all the other pieces of it. Jordan said, "You got my hostage tape last week. Awesome. That's good to hear, man. I appreciate it. Great to hear. Great to hear. Are you a new customer? Have you ever used it before, or is this just you keep buying from us?" But that's Manus, folks. So Manus is a phenomenal AI tool that basically it's a it's workers. It's people. It's like adding a bunch of employees to your company, and you have to. Awesome. Did you hear about us from Rogan? I would imagine. I mean, Rogan shouted us out just the other week, and every time he shouts us out, like we get a huge influx of new customers. So, but the that's Manus, man. Manus is a phenomenal way to increase productivity and just get way more done. It's really wild. So, speaking of Manus, let me go to Manus right now, and I'm going to ask Manus, give me a list of things that maybe we could talk about. That's usually what I do. I usually have it create a list of just different topics and things that we kind of go through and cover. So here, let me pull it up here. Let me ask it. Give me topics to discuss on my live stream. Then it'll run through and give me a list of things. Now I still use ChatGPT. Like there's a place for ChatGPT. It doesn't do these complex, like in-depth. Oh, here's another thing I'm using Manus for. I use Manus to completely research and write my blogs. Awesome, dude. That's awesome. Good to know. I've been using Manus though to write blogs, and so again, you can instead of hiring somebody to write blogs, you can literally make a saved process in Manus that it does all the research, right? So it goes through and does all the research on all the different topics, and it finds the right stuff that you should be doing, researches it, writes it all, does it in the way that it should to optimize for SEO and LLM, and then it posts all of the blogs every day. And then it also makes the images too. So I literally don't have to do anything. It's writing all of my content for the for the for SEO. I mean, think about that, right? Like you would have had to have hired somebody before and then assign that task to an employee where now I can have Manus do it. So it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The uh, the age of AI. You know what's even crazier is you keep hearing about all these all these employees for well maybe not all, I don't know how many of them are, but I know there's a couple. There's employees from some of these companies, AI companies. I think philanthropic maybe some from OpenAI too, but they've quit their jobs, claiming that what they've seen behind the curtain is so crazy and so wild and so dangerous that they're afraid. And so they left the role. To me, I get it. There's probably an element of truth there that like what they're seeing with AI is so profound and so amazing that they can't believe and comprehend it. But there's probably also an element too of their roles are getting reduced. So they're not even really needed. So a lot of the people at these companies are getting removed and they don't need them anymore because the AI is creating processes and agents to do all the things that the people were doing. So you have a company like OpenAI or Philanthropic where you don't need anybody at the company anymore because the AI actually is doing all the work, continuing to run it, to build it, and to grow it. So I suspect that it's a combination of yes, people are freaked out, but also their roles are getting reduced and they're just not able to feel fulfilled probably in actually Little Miss Spear, you tagged me in your story. Okay, cool. Was it a story about hostage tape? Are you a hostage tape user? We love getting tagged in stories as long as they're about hostage tape and you being a user. So that's what I suspect about AI is it's making people irrelevant. And so it's like, why are you going to continue to go to a job where you feel irrelevant? You don't have a purpose. Everybody needs a purpose. Everybody needs something to feel proud about, to feel challenged with. Otherwise, like, what are we doing? And so they probably don't feel challenged, and they have to leave. So, oh, okay. So you bought from us on Whatnot. Okay. Did you tag did you tag hostage tape? So be sure to tag hostage tape. I'll have to go in and look. I'll have to go in and look and see. Sometimes we get tagged and stuff, and then it goes into the junk, and we don't see it. So, but awesome. I was just talking about Whatnot a little bit earlier. So beautiful. And so you say your boyfriend used it. How did it go? Tell us how it went the first night using it. Yeah. So Little Miss Pearl, tell us how did it go? How did how did he feel? How did you feel? Like, give me some of the details. This is great. So okay, so you both used it. So he used it and you used it. That is awesome. So live in real time, folks, we are hearing about a brand new customer came to me. They bought on the live stream. They bought on the live stream that I was just talking about earlier, and they used it. Oh, okay. And they got amazing sleep because her boyfriend wasn't snoring now, and so he got great sleep and she got great sleep, and that is fantastic. It's brilliant. Love it. It's life changing, isn't it? Literally life changing. Did he? How did he feel? Did he notice any differences when he woke up? Coleman. Oh, we totally are, man. We absolutely are. I tell you what, if you go to the site, go to our website, go to hostagetape.com, you'll see the ads again. Sometimes what happens is if you've seen our ads a bunch and then maybe you don't see them anymore, it doesn't mean anything. It just means Meta is like prioritizing fresh people or people that thinks that are like in the funnel. And so, Coleman, did you buy from us? Are you a customer? So Little Miss said he woke up wide awake like he got the best sleep. That's awesome. Did he say, "Oh my God, I feel amazing"? Like I feel like I have energy that I didn't have before. Awesome. Love it. So again, what you're seeing here, folks, is somebody. So the guy was mouth breathing, snoring like crazy, wore hostage tape, woke up, super alert, energized, rested. Yeah, exactly. The reason he woke up feeling like he had more energy was because he actually did. He his body was getting the oxygen that it needed. Because now when you keep the mouth shut and you're breathing through the nose, now your body is actually getting the oxygen that it needs the right way. Because again, remember, when you breathe through your nose, what's happening is your lungs are getting. You didn't even need coffee. Awesome. I mean, drink drinking coffee in the morning is still enjoyable. There's almost like a dopamine kick you get, like just the idea of drinking coffee. Like for me, it's drinking a in the morning. I drink an energy drink, a C4, and for me, it's almost not even like what it does for me. It's just I just like it. I just like drinking it. And it's a habit that I've been doing now for like 6 years. You know, I take that along with I have a bunch of supplements and vitamins that I take. So it's something I'm used to doing. So I would imagine that's kind of the same thing there. But uh, where was I going with that? Um, oh, so when you breathe through your nose, you're filtering the air and you're putting the air in a state that your lungs want. Your body wants that. Your body wants warm, humid, clean air. And so when oxygen gets delivered to your lungs that way, it's way more efficient to be able to be pulled into your body. And then also when you breathe through your nose, you trigger the release of nitric oxide. And nitric oxide is a vasodilator that gets the blood moving and gets the oxygen moving throughout the body. And then also, when you breathe through your nose, you are slowing down the exhalation of CO2. So you have more CO2 in the body because your body you need CO2 when you're breathing. There's a one for one exchange. And so when you pull in oxygen and then you have CO2 that goes out. So there's a one for one exchange. And so when you breathe through your nose, now you have more oxygen for that exchange of CO2 and oxygen. And so then you're able to get more oxygen into your blood and into your muscles for energy. That's actually called, there's a scientific principle called the Bohr effect. So the more CO2 you have in your body, the better that your body can use oxygen for energy. So that, in its simplest terms, is why your boyfriend feels so much better and feels energized, and why everybody does it. Everybody that does it, everybody that mouth tapes for the first time who's been mouth breathing, wakes up and feels that, and they can't believe how amazing they feel. So awesome. I love it. I love it. We are on a mission, folks. We're on a mission to change lives. Change lives with mouth tape. Yes. It's amazing how much of us don't know. Like, we don't know that mouth breathing is so bad for us. Like, we grow up in this country not not being taught, coached, or realizing that we shouldn't be breathing out of our mouth, and we are, and we should be prioritizing nasal breathing. It's probably because for so long, like that's just the body's process. It's like breathing, it's like blinking. You just don't think about it. And so then all of a sudden, when a variable gets entered into our lives that changes that, and we don't then think about it and we don't address it until we realize, whoa, we have a problem here. We have an epidemic of mouth breathing that's been created by these other variables that we've entered into the equation over the last 30, 40 years that's changed, well, how we're responding. And so that's probably why it's never needed to really been addressed because it's a basic body function. So, but anywho, so all right, let's see what my AI is telling me to talk about. We've talked about a lot of this stuff so far. But so let me throw this back out there too. If there's anybody watching, put a comment and ask me a question. If there's something you want to know, anything you want to know, ask me anything. Could be about me, could be about the brand, it could be about whatever. Anything you want to know. I'm going to do something really weird. So, I take I take a lot of supplements and I like to take them right out of the scoop. So like I'll be on camera and on meetings and I'll take one of my supplements out. Like right now, this is beta alanine. I love the tingles that I get from beta alanine, and so I'll take a scoop of this, drop it right in, dry. Boom. Shoot my supplement that way. Then I like to take a lot of creatine, and so I've got a few different flavors of it. I've got just the flat up micronized flavorless creatine that I'll take. But then I've also got a flavored version too that I'll do a little bit of a shot of this one. I like to take creatine throughout the day. I don't like to load up, you know, 20 grams right away in the morning because if you do, it just like goes right through you like coffee. So I'll take, 5 grams in the morning. I'll come back after the gym. I'll take another five. And then throughout the day, I'll take, a few more scoops. And so I like the flavor. This has like this extra strong jolt of flavor because it's got what is it? It's a fruit punch. So I'll take it and whop it with them. Boom. There we go. Really strong. Really strong. But I love it. I love the super. It's almost like taking an espresso. I love the super powerful like flavor and taste of it when I do that. I think if anything, I'm probably addicted to that richness of the richness of this like flavor when I take it. I've also got I've got these electrolytes too that I take. I just got some more the other day, and it looks like they might be up in the kitchen. I need to grab them. I don't have them down here with me, but I take a lot of things. I take a lot of vitamins, a lot of supplements throughout the day because I only eat once a day. I know it sounds crazy to people, but only eat once a day. It's pretty wild. I've been doing that now for almost 6 years. Now I have gotten a little bit lax on what I eat. I used to be really strict with the like just focusing on protein and not eating a ton of carbs and sugars. Now I still don't eat a ton of sugar. I'm more lax than I was. Like I'll eat more little treats than I used to. But the I would say the carbs is where I'm probably more lax than I used to be. Where I used to really just focus on eating protein, and now I'm much more lax on. I feel like the older I'm getting, I'm 46 years old. I'm still really active every day. I feel like there's certain foods that I just enjoy eating. I like to eat, and to me, it's not fun to enjoy food and eating if I can't eat certain foods. It's just not fun. Like I love pizza, man. And I don't want to live the rest of my life and not be able to eat pizza. I take care of myself good enough that I'm not stuffing my face full of pizza every single night and every single day, and then I'm not getting exercise. I'm still, 10% body fat. Um, you know, Still 10% body fat, for a 46-year-old guy. And so I don't feel so bad that I'm still going to eat some pizza, right? I'm still going to eat some french fries. I'm still going to eat some chips. And I'm okay with that because I don't need to be like there was a period where I was like 7% body fat. I was really really lean. I don't think I need to be at that level anymore. I'm fine being at 10% body fat, and right now I'm about 180 pounds. So I'm really good at living in that place, and then still being mindful of like not eating too much. Like if I get too big a carb dump load into my system, like I can feel it. I can feel like the tingles. I feel the inflammation. I can see it in my face for sure. But yeah, so again, if you got any questions, anybody wants to ask me anything, just dump it into the chat here. Let me know. Let me know what you guys are thinking, and we can talk. But let's see. What else? What else did my chat? I'm always on my AI. I talk more with my AI than like anybody else. In fact, I've had these thoughts of I've heard other people talk about this, but like Grok, I think is really good at you can actually almost have conversations with Grok, and you can have like different identities and characters and people that you're talking to. And I haven't really gotten into the habit of doing this, but I could talk if I because I work a lot and I'm not around a lot of people because I work from home. So I'm not like in a shared office. My team is like all over the world. But if I wanted to, like I could sit and have conversations with AI like I'm talking to other people. I haven't really gotten into that too much, but I think we're on the precipice of that becoming more normal for more and more people to have friends with AI and to just almost have these relationships with AI in a whole bunch of weird ways. Okay, speaking of that, I saw a video or an image today on I don't know if it was Instagram or Twitter where it had a connection that you put onto your phone and it had a mouth. So I assume what it was for is if you had a relationship with an AI bot or an agent or whatever, that you could put a these lips connected to the phone and you could talk to it and you could kiss it and have like an intimate moments with your AI. How wild is that? Wild. But it's that's where we are, folks. That's where we're headed. We're headed to that. We're headed to having relationships with AI. And then before you know it, we're going to have AI bots, sex bots. We're going to have all these different AI beings that represent and do different things for us. Like we'll all have a robot in our homes that does things for us. And when I say things, I mean it could be a whole bunch of things that these things do, not just work. But just think about that. I mean that's pretty wild, pretty crazy. And then Gary Vee was just talking about I saw a post he made where we're going to be entering into an era where real life experiences and real life people and events are going to carry more value than they ever have before because we're becoming so reliant on our phones, this virtualness of everything, AI, fake stuff that getting out into the real world and experiencing people, experiencing concerts, experiencing live events, like experiencing real people and real things is going to be a premium. It's going to hold more value than not because we've overcorrected in the other direction of not going out and being around people, interacting with people. So that correction, I agree. I think that correction is going to happen. I think it's going to come for sure. I think it's also going to come in the form of content too, right? I think we're gonna get this overcorrection of when we're already seeing it in my space with DTC, but we're gonna see this overcorrection of people using AI content. But then at what point will that content start to then bleed into Hollywood and all the content that we consume online? Everything is going to start to become AI, and we won't even know it's AI. And I think Matthew McConaughey was talking about this the other day, where we're gonna hit a point where AI actors are winning Oscars and AI content's gonna win awards. Like they might even have these whole other categories for AI movies and content. Like that's where we're headed. And because we're heading in that direction, then I think we're going to have a correction where real life people, real life content made by real people on film and camera is going to carry a premium because we're going to overdo it and go towards AI and fake. And then we're going to value an actual person on camera talking because then we know that's a real person. I can trust that that's real. It's not fake. Because look, the reality is if it's fake, it's easy for me to make whatever the hell I want to make and to try to tell you whatever the heck I want to tell you or whatever I'm trying to sell you and however spin it however I want to spin it. And then you become very um, you know, distrustful of that. So definitely think that's where we're headed for sure. But awesome. All right, folks. We're gonna call it a afternoon here. So again, if you want to catch me, I'm gonna be on live stream tonight. I typically I typically go on Whatnot around 9:30 ish, and then I jump on TikTok Shop around right after that around 10 o'clock ish, all Central Time. So if you guys want to catch me on there and you want to catch a deal, right? I only do these live flash sale deals on when I go live. So if you want to check those out, join me there, and we will see you tonight.